out relatively soon, or maybe not soon. MaDFroG is sitting on a lot of minerals. He's sitting on 5,000 to 1.2, whereas the Terran player is sitting on 3.8 to 600 or so. But MaDFroG doesn't really have the army size, but he does now. He does have a good chunk of it over here. A lot of investors and roaches, and we might see a lot of neuroparasites if he can get these off. Ooh, he actually got a lot of those roaches killed. The tanks do siege up. It's very, very difficult to engage in front of those tanks. I think he's waiting for a lot of those Zerglings to spawn. He had built a lot of them, and I think as soon as those Zerglings spawn, we're going to see a huge battle in the middle. In the meantime, the Terran is marching over slightly to the southeast, and I think he's going to try to take out the expansion for MaDFroG once again. He does scan, and he's going to take out some of these creep tumors. And the Zerglings have spawned both army relatively close to 200, 189 to 198, and some of the Zerglings do run in, and I think this base is going to go down. But I think he wants to go for a surround here. And if we take a look at the unit count, about 8 Thors, 6 tanks, 5 Marines, and 6 Hellions, versus a lot of Zerglings. A lot of neuroparasites go off, and wow, he's actually in control of about 4 of the Thors. That is a tremendous effort by MaDFroG. Very, very nice micro there, and these Zerglings are focus firing along with these roaches, and he does take down this battle decisively. Very, very nicely done there by MaDFroG. the last Thor does finally go down. Take a look at the army count right now, 171 to 161. But the Terran is able to re-macro up very, very quickly because he still does have 7 factories, and all these factories are building a lot of stuff. He has a lot of them queued up, and he takes the lead once again because he has so many factories. And MaDFroG's thinking about going in here. He could probably kill off a lot of SCVs if he uses fungal growth on them, and the tanks are coming in from the side. Fungal growth goes off on these SCVs, and the SCVs are dying, but not quickly enough. I think he needs another fungal growth on a couple of them. Ooh, a lot of these SCVs are in the red. A lot of infested turrets are placed on the side. These tanks did manage to push the infestors and the roaches backwards. A lot of Ultralisks are being produced at the moment, and man, wow, all of these SCVs survived. I think he only gotten about 30 or 40% of the SCVs. Had he gotten another 1 or 2 fungal growth off, that would have been a really different story. If we take a look at the army count, 197 to 199, very, very close. But the upgrades are 3-3 for a Terran, whereas the Zerg player has still 1-1, I think, with 2 armor. And the Terran is marching. Fuzer is marching across, and I think he's aiming to kill some of these drones on the side. And if we take a look at income tab right now, both players relatively the same. About 2.4 minerals and about 1,000 gas. And I think MaDFroG is waiting for the right moment to strike. He wants to get these tanks out of position or catch some of these Hellions out of position. And we do see that he's making a lot of Zerglings, and he's going to push in with these Ultralisks, and Ultralisks are inside, but the Ultralisks are dying very, very quickly to the tank fire, and he's actually backing off. Ooh, a couple of neuroparasites go off there, but the infestors were taken down rather quickly. 175, he did lose quite a bit over there. 200 for the Terran player still. And a lot of the Ultralisks are coming in. He does not want to engage at the choke here. Not the best position. Even though tanks are not sieged, they still do a lot of damage. And the tanks are sieging up, and he's going to engage again. These Ultralisks, wow, those Ultralisks do fall very, very quickly to those tanks and the Thor fire. And a lot of these Zerglings are able to come in and try to clean some of these tanks up. An additional Zergling spawn. I think he should be able to hold off this attack. And there's a lot more Zerglings being produced by MaDFroG at the moment. Another scan goes off. More Zerglings coming in. And both players macroing up a lot of Thors. Instead of staying with tanks, he's actually going to switch to Thors. Very, very good idea, especially for these upgrades. Some Thors are showing up at the moment. The army size only 94 for MaDFroG and still 200 for the Terran player Fuzer. It's very, very different story now. After that one battle, MaDFroG has lost a lot of it, and he does neuroparasite this one unit. A couple of Zerglings are trying to finish off the tanks, but they cannot, and as soon as this runs out, oh, he ran out of range, I think. He does neuroparasite once again, 197 to 97. MaDFroG is very, very behind. If we take a look at the income tab, MaDFroG is also starting to fall behind in terms of his income as well. A lot of Zerglings are being produced at the moment, but these Zerglings are going to be cannon fodder for these Hellions, tanks, and Thors. There's simply too many of them, and these Zerglings are not coming in numbers. They're only coming in one at a time, and that is not the best way to do it. But he has his rally point set there. That's why that is happening. And these Zerglings are going to wait for a while. They finally finished the 2-2 upgrades for the Zerglings, but that would do not too much against the 3-3 upgraded Thors. And wow, there is a large army of Thors marching through this, and they're actually going to shoot down the eggs as well. There's a couple of hatchery going up, but then they get cancelled right away because he knows he doesn't have the resources to support that many hatcheries. But he really is hurting in terms of production. He has 2 hatcheries here, he has 2 hatcheries here, he has 1 over there, and he's going to lose a couple of drones over here. A lot of Hellions run inside. They do take down about 2 or 3 of those drones. There's a lot of drones, and there's a line of SCVs. There's a line of SCVs marching to this base. Can you believe that? And the base is actually getting hit by SCVs on the upper left hand corner, while at the same time these Thors are working on the lower right hand corner's base, and all these drones are going to fall. The army count at 197 to 199 miraculously. MaDFroG does macro up very, very quickly, and he has a ton of Ultralists. I think he might be able to make a difference here if he catches these Thors out of position, or if he gets a advantage, and those SCVs actually took that hatchery down. That's gotta hurt. Right now, the Terran is looking more like a Zerg player, but the Ultralist is coming in. The Ultralists are going to come in here and try to take down the Planetary Fortress, but I think it might be better if they just go for the SCVs. The SCVs aren't really dying. They take down the Planetary Fortress, and wow, look at how fast those SCVs fall. Take a look at the army count. The Terran player is a little bit down, but he is back on very quickly. We just saw him go from 160 to about 190 in seconds. And for the first time, there is some peace and quiet around the map, as this Terran player, Fuzer, is moving across the map, trying to decide what he wants to do. And MaDFroG is approaching the final upgrades. He's almost completed with his upgrade. A scan goes off, he will see that MaDFroG might be coming relatively soon. Both armies very, very close. MaDFroG is a little bit supply blocked because he lost a couple of overlords at the lower right hand position when he lost the base and the hatchery over here. Both players trying to get the right unit mix, and that will force this command center to lift, and a couple these infestors call it out of position. Oh no, a couple of Hellions, the very, very smart fungal growth over there could have saved him a lot of trouble, and this one Ultralist is walking out of his way. The pathing of that Ultralist was not the best, and we see a lot of Thors, a lot of tanks engaging. We see about 10 Thors, 11 tanks, and about 19 Hellions, and we see about 18 Ultralists, 8 Infestors, and 50 Zerglings. We're going to see quite a match coming up, and here we're going to see it go off. We take a look at the unit loss tab, or units tab, and we see a lot of these tanks are siege up. Wait, why are they unsieging? These tanks actually unsiege for a second there, and that 1 second is going to be very costly. A lot of newer parasites go off. The Thors are helping MaDFroG, and he will be able to clean up all of these tanks from Fuzer. That was a tremendous battle by MaDFroG, but it looks like the Terran player is able to mass up very, very quickly. He does have the base advantage, he does have the income advantage, everything is in his favor, and MaDFroG is out of minerals. MaDFroG is out in minerals. There's absolutely no income. That is quite surprising. And this Terran player does have this position, and he's fortifying with barracks around the planetary fortress, will make it very difficult for MaDFroG to get in. MaDFroG is really down the armor count. He really needs more minerals, and he's trying to get in, but these SCVs are repairing from the back, and the tanks are coming in to support these Ultralists, and I think this planetary fortress will hold. And I think these are the last of MaDFroG's army. He's only at 78 compared to Fuzer's 186. What a back and forth battle. Let's see if MaDFroG can mass again, but I really don't think he can because he absolutely has no income. He does have a little bit of income right now, but it's very, very minuscule, and we see a couple of SCVs running across the center of the map that will get cut off by the Ultralist perhaps, and a couple of tanks. That's actually a lot of tanks. That's almost 10 tanks. A couple of Thors that will rip through these Ultralists. The Ultralists and the Zerglings are retreating. If we take a look at the army tab, 74 versus 195 for the Terran player Fuzer, and Fuzer is killing a couple of drones, and MaDFroG does GG. What a great game. A lot of back and forth action. Look forward to talking to you guys about game number 2. See you guys in a bit.